We're covering buy, sell, and hold for all 32 teams in 32 minutes, and the show is going to start right now. Welcome back. It's Bob's Three-Toed Warriors with the Word on the Street, Season 1, Episode 20. And on this show, we have Nick. And Nick and I are going to cover 32 teams in 32 minutes. That's 1 minute per team, talking about which players to buy, which players to sell, and which players to hold for your dynasty rosters. Nick, how's it going, buddy?
Doing very well, and I've been very excited to jump on your show. Your show is something I've been trying to push out myself as much as possible because you're always bringing on a new guest and really getting after it, and I respect that a lot. So for me to look and see myself on the top screen here, I'm excited for this.
That's awesome, man. Love pushing out your content as well. And hopefully we get to see both these shows, take off into the near future. So, sure. And people enjoying them. Where can everybody find your work? Speaking of that,
so pretty much everything's run through the Twitter account. I'm just at P2W Fantasy. Right on the header, you can find the website where we have all of our articles. The anchor link is on there where you can find our podcasts for different sites. So again, at P2W Fantasy, super active on there, and we push out YouTube podcasts, articles, polls, everything through Twitter on there. So catch us on Twitter.
Awesome. If you are watching the shows on the YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're listening on the podcast audio, hook me up, subscribe, give a 5-star rating. It's very appreciated. We're gonna slow down the promoting for a minute, though, and we'll give you something worth being promoted for. And so you wrote an article not too long ago, pretty recently, about buy, sell, hold. You actually use win now, dynasty, sell as the terms. But to the listeners who many people get confused by those terms, what do those mean to you? What are you saying here when you say win now, dynasty, sell, or buy, sell, hold? What's that mean?
Yeah, so just took a little bit different of an approach there. The buy, which most people refer to as, is more of a win now mentality, maybe for 2020. Maybe if you're a championship caliber team, these are some guys that I think in 2020 you should really get after. Maybe they're not going to be your long-term dynasty guys necessarily, but if you're really going to get after the championship in 2020, go get these guys. That was the buy or the win now. The dynasty, that was more of a guy that you might hold or stash that might pan out somewhere in the season, but I really can see them panning out somewhere in the long term, especially in dynasty leagues. So more of a stash guy or a hold. And then the sell, I would sell these guys pretty much because I believe that the ones I talked about have their highest value right now. So they might, preseason here be worth more than what they are going to actually produce. So I'm just kind of saying cash in for these guys. So
cash in while you can. Sure.
Yeah. A couple different terms for that. And that's how I looked at it.
All right. Well, I'm going to set up a timer here. And sorry, everybody listening. I didn't find the best little chime, but we're gonna hit all three of these players per. We'll list the team, we'll list the players, and their what we're buy, sell, hold, or win now, dynasty, sell, however you want to say it. And then some of them may need some explaining to do, and some might be pretty clear cut and simple. Or not even explaining, but just some talking about. So
Sure.
We'll feel how long a minute really is.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. And I hopefully back when I wrote the article and whatever I jotted down today, I'll just click all at once and we can get the minute in. So
there we go. Let's do it. We're gonna start right now. I'm hitting the timer. Timer's running, and we have Arizona Cardinals. We have the win now, Kenyon Drake, the dynasty Chase Edmonds, and the sell Christian Kirk. That was only 7 seconds. Not bad.
All right. So Drake I wrote down because weeks 9 through 17, running back 4. I think they're going to use him a lot this coming season. Immediately, I don't know how long he's going to be in the team, but I think for sure he'll be a workhorse 2020. Chase Edmonds, I think, is a good dynasty hold because the weeks that he was getting the touches, he was also running back 4. So weeks 5, 6, and 7. So I think he could be the future Cardinal if it's not Drake. And then the sell Christian Kirk. Reason I want to sell him is because I think there's some expectations now that he has a good wide receiver 1 Hopkins in front of him, and you might want to cash in now if he doesn't really take on that wide receiver 2 role the way he should.
Sure, get out while you can. All right, we had 7 seconds to spare. We're gonna stop that bad boy and we're started again. We're gonna talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Win now, Mr. Julio Jones. I love that man. Dynasty Russell Gage. That's a sneaky name, not as many people are talking about. And Hayden Hurst, also another favorite of mine. What you got?
Julio Jones, I don't think gets enough credit. I think we all love the Calvin Ridley shiny piece right now. Mm-hmm. Julio Jones has got it done consistently over the years. 2020, he's not going to slow down. He's going to be Julio Jones. Russell Gage, dynasty guy, when he did get called up and got the volume, he performed very well. Do I think Hayden Hurst gets all of the Austin Hooper targets? I personally don't. I think Gage
I do.
And I'm going to break some hearts here. But I think Gage might be sneaky and be like a Sanu when he was on the team and steal the targets. And Hayden Hurst, I don't want to knock your guy, Bob, but he was on a team. He didn't really earn any sort of role in that team. That's a big red flag to me. I don't like the idea of automatic vacated targets, and that's the reason I just can't really trust him right now.
So. I like it. All right. Not bad. We went over a few seconds, but we had a few seconds left from the last one. Hey, next we move over. See, it's an average, right? All right. Next we go to Baltimore Ravens. Win now, Mark Ingram, Dynasty, Marquise Brown, and sell Devin Duvernay.
All right. Ingram, 2019 RB11, 12 games in 2018. Forget about that. 2017 RB6. He's very consistent. He's going to run the ball. Big trust in him. Got Marquise Brown and Lamar Jackson. They love each other off the field. It's going to translate at some point on the field. And Devin Duvernay, I just don't know if there's enough room for a guy outside of Marquise and Mark Andrews because of the passing volume. So cash in on that rookie if you can.
All right, I'll buy it, and we will roll to the Buffalo Bills. If you want to win now, you're grabbing John Brown. If you're pushing the dynasty, you're going Gabriel Davis. There's a little deeper name that people aren't used to hearing. And if you're selling Zach Moss.
Yeah, so John Brown, wide receiver 21 or 20 based off your league this past season. Stephon Diggs is going to free up a lot of space on the field for him. He's a buy now for your flex position. Gabriel Davis, UCF guy. Cole Beasley, John Brown are not young. Stephon Diggs kind of is, to a degree, so he could have a role in the future for them for sure. Zach Moss, Singletary's still going to be the man, in my opinion. Zach Moss can take on that Frank Gore role. He could be the goal line guy for touchdowns. I don't know if you're going to get a lot, though. So cash in on him.
I'm definitely still beating the Singletary drum. Me and a coworker were jaw jacking about it a little bit earlier. So, all right. From there, we move over to the Panthers. We have DJ Moore if you want to win now. We have Dynasty Curtis Samuel, and we have sell Mr. Ian Thomas.
DJ Moore, one of my favorite receivers in the league, first-round prospect from Maryland, Mr. Consistent, super, super efficient. I think the offense is going to love him. I think Teddy's going to love him. Curtis Samuel, forget about Anderson. He's still going to have a role, in my opinion. He's very different from DJ Moore, and I think he can be a downfield threat for when they need to go. Ian Thomas, I just don't know what his role is going to be. He's going to get the volume. I just don't know right now, but he will start, so you could cash in on a starter. So.
Okay, I like it. So you're off Anderson, huh?
Anderson, I am off Anderson just because I don't think he's been a guy that has been consistent at all, and
we might have to put up a friendly Twitter wager at some point here.
We might. Would it be Curtis versus Anderson?
It would be. All right. We'll come back to that. All right, we go over to the Chicago Bears. And we have win now, Allen Robinson, absolutely. Dynasty Riley Ridley, and sell Mr. Cohen.
Yeah, so Allen Robinson this past year, wide receiver 8 with kind of poor quarterback play. Let's say it is Nick Foles, more competent play. I think he just continues to climb. He's very, very good. And I think if he's healthy, he's going to be awesome for the Bears and Nick Foles. Riley Ridley hasn't had much of a role. He was an elite route runner, and I think that goes a long way. They don't really have a wide receiver 3 post Gabriel. Might be Wims, might be the Mooney or the rookie they have, but I'm going to go with Ridley based off the route running. Tariq Cohen, PPR machine, but I think if they really want David Montgomery to succeed, his role needs to decrease. So action now.
Yeah, I dig it completely. And Allen Robinson did that good with poor play. He can still have poor play and still do damn good.
Even with Blake Bortles back in the day, who actually was decent in fantasy, but Robinson had some good years too with him. So.
Absolutely. The Bengals. Let's talk the Bengals. We got win now, Tyler Boyd, Dynasty T. Higgins, and sell AJ Green. Yes, the core three wide receivers.
Yeah.
All right.
Decided to throw in the wide receivers there. A big Boyd fan. I believe he was 7th in targets and 11th in receptions, or it might have been vice versa this past year. But I think he's going to out target AJ Green. And he again is Mr. Consistent, wide receiver 17. 2 years ago, wide receiver 18. I'm going to take the Burrow-Boyd connection. Higgins, he was my wide receiver 5 before the draft. He's a big bully of a wide receiver. He's very different than other wide receivers. I think he's going to be a good red zone target one day. AJ Green, we haven't seen play football in a long time, and who knows if he can stay healthy. So it's a big name for a big return that I don't know is going to be a big capital.
Sounds good. We slip over to the Cleveland Browns. Win now. You're going to go sneak and grab Kareem Hunt. Dynasty, Harrison Bryant. I almost couldn't say it. I'm like, who in the hell is that? And sell Austin Hooper.
All right, Kareem Hunt. I think he's going to be another guy that's a PPR machine. They don't have a wide receiver 3. He could step in and just be that sort of guy, slot guy, whatever he's going to be. Even if it's a dynasty league, if he's the number 1 running back on another team one day, that is going to be money and gold, and he's not super expensive right now. Harrison Bryant actually won the John Mackey Award for best tight end in college. He used to be a lineman, and he can catch the hell out of a ball. So I think if they have 2 tight end sets ever, or if he takes over the Hooper role one day, he's going to be very, very good in Dynasty. Nice. Austin Hooper is not going to get the volume like he did in Atlanta. You're really just going to bank off of him being a red zone target, and I don't know if that's worth the investment in Hooper right now.
Okay, I like it. All right, so with that, we take a quick pause from the blitz of stuff here. So it's 10 seconds left over. Nice, I like it. Cool. And I want to ask you this question: your podcast, what's it all about?
Yeah, so right now we're just throwing out as many creative ideas as we can. It's usually me, my brother Anthony, and Thor. That's our P2W team. They're my 2 contributors, and I also have been linking up with some other guys from pages to get their opinions, because as you know, there's 1,000 opinions out there, and it's good to hear other guys' perspectives on things. So I don't like just to only have my team. I like to grab a bunch of guests as much as possible. So even this past week, I grabbed Steve from Climb the Pocket and Chris Robin, DFS cheat. 2 great guys, and it's good to hear their perspectives. So that's what I've been trying to get after, pretty much.
That's awesome. Awesome. Is it dynasty focused? Is it redraft focused? Is it both? IDP? What's the plan there?
I'm a big PPR guy, so I stick with that. It's been a mix, to be honest. I think lately it's been more 2020 focused, just as we're slowly getting towards that. I'm a big dynasty guy too, though. Yeah. So it's a good mix. It's a good mix. It's nice to diversify some things.
All right. Well, let's hop back into the action. Let me get that timer going, and I'm gonna hit start. And when I do, we are heading over to the Dallas Cowboys. You want to win now? We're grabbing Dak Prescott. Steep price, I know, he says. At Dynasty, we're grabbing Michael Gallup. I love that man. And we're selling Amari Cooper. I couldn't sell him fast enough. Go for it.
Yeah, so Dak, everybody's going to want Dak. I don't know if he is the biggest name in the offseason. I think guys like Kyler Murray and Josh Allen might be. So maybe you can sneak and buy Dak, who might finish as the top 2 again or 3. Michael Gallup, 113 targets to Cooper's 119 last year. People need to stop thinking CeeDee Lamb shrinks his role, because CeeDee Lamb might shrink Cooper's role in reality. I think they were close already in targets, and Cooper's price is here, and I think Gallup's is way down here. So sell the guy that might be the 3rd option or the 2nd option. I don't know what Cooper's going to be, and he's not super consistent. So sell the guy that you can cash out the most on in a 3 wide receiver set team, in my opinion.
All right. I like it. Perfect timing. And now we go to the most important team in the NFL. We go to the Denver Broncos, and we have the win now, Jerry Jeudy, Dynasty, KJ Hamler, and sell Mr. Melvin Gordon. And you can tell I'm a Bronco fan.
Yeah. I like it. All right. So Jerry Jeudy was my wide receiver 1, and I don't think it was close for me before the draft even happened. Best route runner, NFL ready in college football. And I think year 1, even though Sutton balled out last year, Jerry Jeudy could be their number 1 wide receiver. He could be. We don't know right now. KJ Hamler, I think people are sleeping on a little bit just because of Sutton and Jeudy, but especially in dynasty formats, he could be a guy that gets some sort of volume and targets, and he was pretty good in college too. Melvin Gordon, he's splitting again, I think, some time on the field. I think he'll get the bulk of carries, but Philip Lindsay had 1,000-yard seasons before. He's not going to disappear, and I think he's going to be like Austin Eckler was and with the Chargers and take those passing targets away from Melvin Gordon. So
perfect. In Detroit, we have the Lions. We have win now, Mr. Marvin Jones Jr., Dynasty, Quintus Cephas, and sell Mr. Kerryon Johnson. He'll be on his way, son.
Yeah. All right. Marvin Jones, not the sexiest of guys, but you know what? The volume is there for him. And when he's healthy and he's on the field, he could be getting 10, 11 targets a game. I know he's 30, but he's going to perform for you, especially with Kenny Galladay drawing the eye. Quintez Cephas out of Wisconsin. Marvin Jones and Danny Amendola are above 30. Could be the guy of the future next to Kenny Galladay. Kerryon Johnson, not a fan of him at all because he can't stay healthy for one. And for two, when he does get the opportunity, he doesn't do anything with it. Big DeAndre Swift fan. All
right. I like it. Here goes a little fun post-draft controversy. We got the Green Bay Packers. We have win now, Alan Lazard. We have the Dynasty pick up Jordan Love and sell Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, as a Bears fan, I had to throw that in there regardless if I believe it or not.
There we go.
Alan Lazard, week 6, wide receiver 16, week 13, wide receiver 12, week 17, wide receiver 19. Him and Aaron Rodgers have a great relationship off the field. I firmly believe he will be their wide receiver too, which can give him some good volume in that offense. Jordan Love, they drafted him for a reason. Who's to say that he doesn't sneak in a game or two this year? I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know what his future is going to look like. I don't think he's a phenomenal fantasy quarterback. I think he's a great real-life quarterback. So everything's fantasy-related we're talking about, so that's why.
All right. From there, we move over to the Houston Texans. We have win now, Mr. Brandon Cooks. I picked him up myself. Dynasty, Isaiah Coulter. And sell Mr. David Johnson.
Yeah, so Cooks, 2018, wide receiver 13, 2017, wide receiver 15, 2016, wide receiver 10. People forget about these things because he had concussions. He's been very, very good over the years. 150 targets are left for him from DeAndre Hopkins. Isaiah Coulter, he's a good young guy. A lot of these guys, Randall Cobb, Will Fuller, we don't know how their long-term durability is going to be on the Texans. He could sneak in. And David Johnson might have a good season. We saw some scary things this past season with him getting bumped out of Arizona. So I think he actually will be good, but it's a big gamble for me. Big gamble.
All right. I like it. From there, we move over to the Indianapolis Colts. We have win now, T.Y. Hilton, Dynasty, Michael Pittman Jr., and sell Mr. Naheem Hines.
Yeah, all right. T.Y. Hilton, consistent top 27-ish guy throughout his career. This past season, over 9 weeks, he was wide receiver 13. He got a vet quarterback with a vet wide receiver. I think it just adds up in 2020. Michael Pittman Jr., he's a big guy. He's going to be an end zone target. End zone targets, red zone targets equal touchdowns. Touchdowns equal fantasy points. Be wide receiver rookie 1. Who knows? Naheem Hines has been in talks for like 2 years now. Marlon Mack's not disappearing. Jonathan Taylor is the future there. I don't know what sort of role is there for him. Forget about the coach talk.
Okay. All right. From there, we are going to slip over to the Jaguars. We have win now, Leonard Fournette, absolutely. Dynasty, Raquel Armstead, and sell Mr. Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, so Fournette, 2019 RB7, 2018 he missed a bunch of games, 2017 RB9. I don't understand why people are fading him. He's going to get a lot of volume. Chris Thompson's coming, but I still think he gets a lot of passes out of the backfield. He's a big, mean running back who's going to be the same in 2020. Armstead is behind him. If for some reason there's some turmoil, like there's rumors have been, he could be the number 1 running back on the team. It's a dice roll and a dart throw. And then I got Minshew. Yeah, exactly. Minshew, I think, is holding a spot for a guy like Trevor Lawrence in the future or Justin Fields or whoever else. I think he's the fan favorite that's not going to be there forever. Sorry for Minshew fans.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, people. Yeah, I agree. I'll leave that alone.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, hands up.
Thompson won't last more than 4 games anyway, you know.
Oh, yeah. All
right. Last one of this segment, we're going over to the Kansas City World Champion Chiefs. My wife would be happy about this team, whatever. Win now, Damian Williams, Dynasty, Mecole Hardman, and sell Mr. Sammy Watkins. Can you actually sell him for something? Go ahead.
for a couple dimes and a quarter, maybe. I don't know. But Damian Williams, he was third in rushing yards in the playoffs, and he was second in touchdowns. The guy balled out at the end of the season. Edwards-Helaire is not going to be Kareem Hunt rookie year. He's going to have Damian Williams still in the presence of the backfield. Mecole Hardman, he could be their wide receiver 2 on the team this year. If not this year, in the future, he's very talented, explosive. Sure. He's great for dynasties. And then Sammy Watkins, like you said, might not be worth a lot, but you can say, hey, he's coming back this year, might play.
Find somebody who's weak at wide receiver and give him another bond.
Wait for that one good week.
There you go. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to let you have a beverage because you're probably parched. And I'm going to mention real quick the Listener League promotion. We have 3 spots left. I'm giving away 2 spots for 5-star reviews, which get screenshotted and sent to me at Bob's3Toad on Twitter. And then I'm giving away the last spot for anyone who can make some creative content. It could be in rhyme, it could be in video, it could be a picture, it could be words. I don't care. Just something saying why you deserve to be in the Listener League. And it needs to include something about the Word on Streets podcast. You make it up. I don't know. I just want to be entertained and let you in the league and have a good time. So that is all I got on the Listener League. Just keep listening, keep enjoying people, and we're going to have a good time with that league. Don't forget to follow me and my guests on Twitter. So, all right, from there, we are going to slip to the next team. And I had a hard time writing this down because I still want to say San Diego. But we're going to slip right over to San Diego. Or, damn it, I still said it. The LA Chargers. Win now, Hunter Henry, Dynasty, Joshua Kelly, and sell Mr. Justin Jackson.
Hunter Henry, tight end 5, week 6 through 17. Different quarterback, but you know what? An easy target for an uncomfortable quarterback is your tight end. And I think he's very talented when he's healthy. Joshua Kelly, and I'll put him and Justin Jackson in the same boat. Justin Jackson has had a lot of opportunities here and there. Hasn't really done much. Joshua Kelly was the rookie running back drafted. I think Justin Jackson starts the season maybe as that second guy, but a drops off for Joshua Kelly in Dynasty.
Okay. All right, that was easy, and I lost my timer. 18 seconds. Man, so much time there. All right.
Good one. That was a good one. Just spit it out.
It was easy, as clear as mud. Clear as day, not mud. All right, now we move over to the LA Rams. That's a wicked new logo. I've not really looked at it that much. The LA Rams looks like it's LA Fitness or something. They have win now. Robert Woods, Dynasty, Bryson Hopkins, and sell Mr. Tyler Higbee.
All right, so Woods I'm a huge fan of because the volume is very consistent. We saw 2 different halves of Cooper Kupp, not Robert Woods, though. He had games with like 11 targets, 10 targets, 14 targets. He had one with 17 targets. Grab volume and fantasy. Bryson Hopkins, he could be the tight end of the future. I don't think Everett's going to be there much longer. Higbee's a great blocker. I don't know if he's always going to be their pass-catching tight end. So that leads me to him. He had a phenomenal top-of-the-league tight end sort of guy at the end of the season. That's the highest I think his capital is going to be. He was above Kelsey and Kittle at one point. He's not going to be that high, I don't think, in 2020. He'll still be pretty good, but not that high. So,
yeah, and if you're trying to win now and you want to go steal Robert Woods, you can probably do it because he's always disrespected and he's aging and he's just a nice steal for you in Dynasty. So
one of my favorite fantasy players, to be honest.
There you go. All right, another team that can't keep their name straight, the Las Vegas Raiders. They're going to win now with Tyrell Williams. In Dynasty, we're going to go Brian Edwards, and we're going to sell Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, so Tyrell Williams and Brian Edwards, I actually, in my notes, kind of flip-flop them. Tyrell Williams, I'll just hold him, but he's first 5 games of the season this past year, he had a touchdown. Who's to say that he still is not involved in the passing game? So just hold him. I'd actually buy Brian Edwards, 3rd-round guy. He plays all over the field. I'm not super sold on Ruggs. Who's to say that Brian Edwards is not their actual best rookie wide receiver? I don't know. I can't read the future. But Hunter Renfrow did his job very well, but there's too many guys on the team now that are going to push him out of the targets, and a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it
is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying the show. If you are, don't forget to subscribe, like, click the bell, all those fun things. All right, we're moving on to the next team. We're moving on to the Miami Dolphins. We had 7 extra seconds there. I put a little promo in there. Did you like that?
Oh, I see what you did.
I see what you see what I did. We're moving to the Miami Dolphins. We're going to go win now with Jordan Howard. That man is reliable as hell if you want some yards. Dynasty, we're going to go to Preston Williams, and then we're going to sell Matt Breida.
Yeah, Jordan Howard has one of the most career yards in the league right now for active players. He's been pretty good, and he's still like 26 or 7. I think he's going to be very reliable in that offense, and you know what? He's going to be good in the red zone if that offense gets him there. Get Jordan Howard. He's cheap. He's cheap, and he's going to be good for you. Preston Williams was just as good as Devontae Parker before he tore his ACL, if not better. So I think the ACL tear is a big red flag, but you know what? If he's still going to come in healthy, I think he could be just as good as Devontae Parker and much cheaper. Matt Breida, I think, is going to be a guy that has some flashes, but he's behind Jordan Howard, and don't let Twitter fool you because I don't think he's stepping into that starting role.
Okay. All right, there you have it. Yeah, Jordan Howard, you might as well give that man a hard hat.
Yeah.
Just let him do his thing. All right, from there we move on to the Minnesota Vikings. We have win now with Justin Jefferson. We have dynasty with Irv Smith, and we have sell Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait till he's back on the field for sure before you try and sell him. But
hey, I'm selling either way, I think. But Justin Jefferson, Diggs left 94 targets up for grabs. I'm not saying he's going to grab them all, but he was my wide receiver 3 before the draft. Very, very talented, and he gets the job done. He did for Joe Burrow at LSU. He's going to do it for Kirk Cousins. Irv Smith Jr. almost split Rudolph for both targets and receptions. He's very, very athletic and talented. I think he takes that tight end 1 position on the team away from Rudolph, in my opinion. And Dalvin Cook, just injury after injury after injury. I read a quote from Dr. Edwin Porras from Twitter. He said he's like a hit away on his shoulder from being out multiple weeks, and he's holding out right now. So that's a two-way thing. The injuries and the holdout, sell him. I'm not dealing with either.
All right. Haven't hit that timer in a while. I like it. Restart timer. New England Patriots. You want to win now? You're grabbing James White. You're going for the dynasty shot. Mission N'Keal Harry from last year, and you want to sell Julian Edelman from 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. All right. James White, RB7 in 2018. The guy can give you 70 to 80 receptions. PPR leagues, that is gold for you. I think Cam's going to still use him as well out of the backfield because he might be uncomfortable at first. Sure. N'Keal Harry, I think, was the biggest winner from the Cam signing. He's going to be a guy that's going to link up with him. He's already working out with Cam, and I think he could be a guy that has a huge stock rise. He was a great prospect out of college. Julian Edelman had a great Tom Brady connection. I don't know if he's going to have a great Cam Newton connection. It's up in the air, and he's had a lot of drops over the past year or two. So I think he's kind of decreasing in his role and his efficiency. So
all right
for him.
And thank you for making me feel old. My wife and I were having a conversation about my 15-year-old talking about linking up, and you just rolled it out a couple times on me.
Hey.
Awesome. All right, using that timer.
Yeah, I coach like 14-year-olds right now, 15-year-olds. So I pick up on their lingo and I try to stay young as I can. So
hey, clock doesn't lose, so enjoy it, man. All right, we move over to the New Orleans Saints. We have win now, Mr. Emmanuel Sanders. Broncos love dynasty, Jameis Winston, and sell Jared Cook.
Yeah, Emmanuel Sanders, Michael Thomas is going to be the eye and focus of every single game. And Emmanuel Sanders, when he's healthy, he's good. He's a good football player. So Drew Brees is a good quarterback. It makes sense to me that he could be efficient. He could be a good flex for you. Jameis Winston might be the future quarterback with Michael Thomas, and he's a guy that likes to sling. Do I like Jameis Winston a lot? Won't comment, but he could be the future of the New Orleans Saints. Jared Cook, he's 33 years old. People think Gronk is old. Gronk is 31. Jared Cook is 33. Adam Troutman is a good young tight end. It's not going to be a long time for Cook in fantasy. That's all I'm going to say with that.
Yeah, and I don't doubt that Emmanuel Sanders and the quality of play he puts out there will push Cook's productivity down as well. So,
yep, good point there.
All right, let's go over to the New York Giants. Win now, Sterling Shepard, dynasty, Caden Smith, and sell Evan Ingram. See what I did there. Let's see what you did there. Let's go.
With the tight ends. Yeah, so Sterling Shepard had 3 weeks of 9, 9, and 9 targets this past year. Then he also had weeks with 9, 11, and 10. Slayton was the big name, but Shepard, if he is healthy, he's very consistent and he's efficient. He's very good. Caden Smith, when Evan Ingram was banged up per usual, weeks 10 through 7, 12 plus volume games. I mean, they were giving him a lot of catches, a lot of receptions, a lot of targets. So if Evan Ingram follows the narrative that he has been and continues to be injured, I think Caden Smith's a good guy for dynasty leagues. Evan Ingram, I just don't trust he's going to stay healthy. And I hate to have that knock on a guy, but if you're going to invest in Evan Ingram and he's not going to be healthy, that's a waste. So,
okay, I dig it. No love for it's a damn timer. I can't talk about it. All right, and with that, we're going to take a short pause. I'm going to let you have another beverage. Don't forget to follow my guest here on Twitter. Now that you took the beverage, I'm going to ask you a question.
All right.
Remind everyone we are not done. We still have 8 more to go, but remind everybody where they can find you once again.
Yep, it's at P2W Fantasy on Twitter. So again, on the header of that my Twitter page, you can find the anchor that has the different sites for the podcast. My website's there, and we have so many articles that we post all the time. And from Twitter, we'll post polls and YouTube and the podcast and all different sorts of things. Always willing to answer questions in my DMs, in your comments, on everything. So very interactive from there, but catch me on Twitter.
Love it. Love it. All right. So here we go. We're going to jump into this final segment. And the final segment doesn't mean it's a bad segment. It just means it's alphabetical.
Hey,
all right.
Here we go.
So here we go. We're going to hit start, and we're going to talk about the New York Giants. We're going to go win now with Jamison Crowder. We're going to go dynasty with Denzel Mims. We're going to sell Mr. Breshad Perriman, another wide receiver core.
So it looks like it went all wide receivers there, but Crowder, I think, is the one guy that you can count Sam Darnold linking up with consistently, just because his target volume this past season was very, very good that people actually sleep on. The dynasty hold, what do we have for that?
Denzel Mims.
Denzel Mims, the rookie wide receiver that can eventually be their wide receiver one. I like the talent there out of Baylor. Very promising. And the sell Perryman, he's been very hot, very cold. In fantasy, you want a guy that is either in the middle somewhere or hot. You don't want somebody that keeps going back and forth. So that's my opinion from that.
I dig it. All right, we'll move on from the Jets because the whole NFL should. Then we'll go over to the Philadelphia Eagles. Sorry, Jets fans. I think it is excluded.
Hey, one of my contributors is a huge Jets fan, so you just hurt his feelings, I think.
All right. At me. The Eagles. We go to win now with Deshaun Jackson, maybe. Dynasty, Boston Scott. And sell Dallas Goedert. Man, this is a hot list.
It is. And I actually axed off Deshaun Jackson because I'm not going to say anything about him because of his stupid comments. So I'm actually going to say Zach Ertz is the guy you should buy because I think people get pretty happy about Dallas Goedert being the younger tight end, but Ertz is still going to be very good, just like Kelsey, for the next couple of years. So get Ertz because he's done it before and he's been consistent. Boston Scott, weeks 14 through 17, was RB7. He got some good volume. He could be a sneaky guy in the flex when they are up in games and Miles Sanders kind of gets some rest. And I think they do split a little bit in that backfield, still to a degree. Dallas Goedert, I'm going to sell right now just because I think with them adding Rieger and other wide receiving options, I don't think they're always going to need 2 tight ends on the field now. Last season they did because everybody was hurt. So,
sure, if you want out on them and get some value, that's a good time. All right, we move over to the Steelers, and we got win now James Conner, Dynasty, Chase Claypool, and sell Deontay Johnson because James Washington really is the man. But go ahead.
So James Conner 2018 was RB6, and everybody forgets about that. I think they're worried about him being hurt. With a healthy Big Ben who can supplement the run game with the pass game, I think that opens things up for James Conner. They were just a train wreck last season. Chase Claypool offers something very different than Juju, Deontay Johnson, James Washington. He's a guy that almost was going to be a tight end in the NFL. He's a big body guy that's going to be a mean wide receiver. So I like that diversity. And then Deontay Johnson is one of the biggest offseason names. He had a great end of the season because of the circumstances. I don't know if he's going to perform like he did before. And if he doesn't, you kind of lost out on something you could have sold for a higher price.
All right. Good times. All right, we're switching over to Seattle Seahawks. What a damn team. Win now with Tyler Lockett, Dynasty with DJ Dallas, and let's sell Chris Carson.
Yeah, so with Tyler Lockett, I think he's had a great connection with Russell Wilson, and I think he's a little bit slept on because the pretty name is DK Metcalf. He's still, I think, going to be their wide receiver 1 in 2020. I think some people think it might be Metcalf. I think it's gonna be Lockett. He's been their vet. He's been their guy that's the go-to consistent guy. He doesn't have drops like DK does.
Sure.
DJ Dallas is a dart throw just because Chris Carson and Penny have had some injuries. Who knows what the future holds for a run-heavy offense? So just stash that guy. And then Chris Carson, he's another guy that does get slept on, and he was like 5th in attempts this year, and I actually respect him a lot, but I don't know how that hip injury plays out for his long-term durability, because a hip injury is a rough one for being a running back, cutting and having all those different motions. So don't quote me on that. I'm not a doctor, but
there you go. San Francisco win now with Raheem Mostert. Dynasty Jalen Hurd, you heard it, and sell Mr. Deebo Samuel.
So this came out before the whole Mostert trade thing, but
sure, which might not happen.
Yeah, if Mostert is the running back in 2020, I think they're going to use him heavily, even though there's big question marks in that backfield. So if you can get him for a decent price, that's not going to cost you the bank. Why not go for that? Because they're a run team first. Jalen Hurd, 6'5", 226, used to be a running back. Now he's a wide receiver. They're going to use him in all different situations, in my opinion, and he might be a sneaky guy in dynasty leagues. Deebo Samuel had a decent rookie year, but again, they don't throw the ball that much. And when they do, a lot of the times it's a George Kittle. They're a run-first team. Deebo's had his bang-up injuries too, and I think his price before the season might be the highest it could be. Just a dart throw.
All right. Perfect. And with 3 seconds to spare. Now we move over to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Mr. Tom Brady's team. We have win now, Mike Evans, Dynasty Tyler Johnson, and sell Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, so Mike Evans did one thing that Chris Godwin is not, and he's actually been a great wide receiver for more than 1 year.
Sure.
2019, 15, 2018, he was 9, 2017, 17, and then 2006, he was wide receiver 3. He's done it for a long time. I know Chris Godwin is a very shiny piece, but Evans has been a more consistent guy over the years, even though he's been in the league longer. Tyler Johnson might have been Minnesota's best wide receiver ever. Could he be the wide receiver 3 on that team if they do implement a third wide receiver? He could be. I don't know if it's Scotty. I think it could be Tyler Johnson long term. So stash him. Gronk, could he be a great tight end? Maybe. Could he be a guy that is a gimmicky guy that is going to draw a lot of focus, red zone, and then it's an OJ or it's an Evans or a Godwin? Maybe. So we don't really know how he's going to be.
Yeah, I'm selling Gronk now if I have him cashing out and moving on to something for the future. Unless I'm just in that total win now, and I think he can do it for me.
Yeah.
Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, sorry, not just a last Gronk comment. My buddy from Shotgun gave a good point. He could just be a big decoy in the red zone too. So we don't really know what Gronk's going to be, and I don't know if we can count on him being the Gronk of the past. But
there you go. Tennessee Titans. We have win now, Mr. Derrick Henry, Dynasty, Corey Davis. People sleep on that man. Wait for that breakout and sell Mr. Ryan Tannehill.
So you said Henry, right, for the buy?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I think Henry is going to be used and abused in 2020. Maybe not 303 attempts like last year, but I think if they have any sort of thought that they can go far in the playoffs like they did last year, they're going to use Derrick Henry again.
Sure.
Corey Davis, even if he doesn't pan out this year, I think he's on his last year. So maybe he moves on to another team and he has a rebirth like some other players have done.
Sure.
Tannehill was amazing. We've also seen Tannehill very average. So it's a push and pull. I don't know what we're going to see in 2020. I think he'll be good. Will he be good for 3-4 years? I don't know. I just really don't know.
All right. And last, we're going to move over to the – shut up, phone. We're going to move over to the Washington Warriors. That's what I just named them.
I was about to say, almost call yourself. That was smart there.
Nope, that was the best name for them. I like it because they don't have to even change their logos.
Good.
All right. So now that I've wasted 15 seconds talking about that, I'm going to add it back on because I can. We're going to win now with Darius Geis. We're going to do Dynasty with Thaddeus Moss. And we're going to sell Mr. Steve Sims Jr.
All right. I actually switched this in my notes.
Go for it. What do you got?
I'm buying Terry McLaurin, rookie wide receiver 1 last year. A.J. Brown is the most talked about sophomore, but Terry McLaurin was better, and I think he's still going to be very good because they're going to throw the ball a lot in a team that's going to be losing games. So Terry McLaurin, buy him. Thad Moss is my dynasty guy. He could be their tight end 1 this year. I don't know. He's very efficient in college. He has great genes. If you look at that, I don't even have to say what family he has, but yeah, Geis is actually going to be the guy that I'm going to sell. because he's had under 50 carries in his career, and the game script for the Redskins is not going to be a run-heavy team. It's going to be a throw the ball because we're losing games team. So I think that's Bryce Love, and it's Antonio Gibson more than Geist running the ball. But I hope he's healthy. I do.
All right, Leah, right on time. Perfect. That was 32 freaking teams in 32 minutes. Yeah, we're 40 minutes in. But we've had some small talk in between. We've had an intro in between. That was pretty damn fun. I don't know what you thought, Nick, but
hey, I almost lost my breath a couple times, but I
love it. I love it. All right, use your last breath here to remind the subscribers where they can find you one more time.
One more time. So it's at P2W Fantasy on Twitter. Again, catch all the podcasts, the polls, YouTube videos, tons of articles, always interacting with people. I don't care if you have 1 follower or 1,000 followers. We're always wanting to talk to people. And thanks, Bob, again for having me on. It's been very fun.
It was.
Got a good long workout, that's for sure.
There you go. I can be found on Twitter at Bob's3Toad, on YouTube, Bob's 3Toad Warriors, and listen to new shows that drop on Monday and Thursday mornings on YouTube and everywhere podcasts can be found. You can also find the Facebook page, which is trying to do something. We'll see what happens, at Word on the Streets. We will be looking to do Wednesday happy hour live streams in the not too distant future. Probably not this week, but maybe next week. We shall see. Actually, when I say this week, it actually before this episode is aired. So you'll know about it already if you actually follow along. And that's it for this show. It's been Bob's Three-Toed Warrior with Nick, reminding you soon enough, I hope, you'll be able to hit the waiver wire, set your lineups, and dominate your opponents. See ya.